The outlook was brilliant for the Dustburg team that day. We were leading Mudville 4-2 with an inning left to play. We got Cooney on a grounder and Muldoon on the same. 2 out, none on, top of the 9th. We thought we'd won the game. Mudville was despairing, and we grinned and cheered and clapped to think that after all these years our losing string had snapped. We only wished that Casey, the big fat ugly lout, would be the patsy who would make the final shameful out. Oh, how we hated Casey. He was a blot upon the game. Every dog in Dustburg barked at the mention of his name. A bully and a braggart, a cretin and a swine. If Casey came to bat, we'd stick it where the moon don't shine. 2 out, and up came Flynn to bat with Jimmy Blake on deck, and the former was a loser, and the latter was a wreck. And though the game was in the bag, the Dustburg fans were hurt to think that Casey would not come and get his just dessert. But Flynn cut loose a single, a most unlikely sight, and Blake swung like a lady, but he parked it deep to right. And when the dust had settled and fickle fate had beckoned, there was Flynn a-hugging third, and Jimmy safe at second. Then from every Dustburg throat arose a mighty cry, "Send up the slimy greaseball and let him stand and die. Throw the mighty slider and let him hear it whiz, and let him hit a pop-up like the pansy that he is." There was pride in Casey's visage as he strode across the grass. There was scorn in his demeanor as he calmly scratched his back. 10,000 people booed him when he stepped into the box, and they made the sound of farting when he bent to fix his socks. And then the mighty slider came spinning towards the mitt, and Casey watched it coming, and he did not go for it. And the umpire jerked his arm like he was hauling down the sun, and the cry rang from the box seats to the bleachers, "Strike one!" 10,000 Dustburg fans raised such a mighty cheer, the pigeons in the rafters crapped and ruined all the beer. "You stupid, lazy, filthy, ignorant, rotten son of a gun," we yelled at mighty Casey. And then came the second one. It was our hero's fastball, and it came across the plate, and according to the radar, it was going 98. And according to the umpire, it came in straight and true, and the cry rang from the toilets to the bullpen, "Strike two!" 10,000 Dustburg fans arose in joyful, loud derision to question Casey's salary, his manhood, and his vision. Then, while the Dustburg pitcher put the rosin on the ball, 10,000 people hooted to think of Casey's fall. Oh, the fury in his visage as he spat tobacco juice and heard our little children screaming violent abuse. He knocked the dirt from off his spikes, reached down and eased his pants. "What's the matter? Did you lose 'em?" cried a lady in the stands. And now the Dustburg pitcher stood majestic on the hill. He leaned in towards the plate, and then the crowd was still. He went into his wind-up, he kicked and let it go, and then the air was shattered with the force of Casey's blow. He swung so hard his hair fell off, and he fell down in disgrace, and the Dustburg catcher held the ball, and the crowd tore up the place with Casey lying in the dirt amid the boos and jeers. We threw wieners down at him and other souvenirs. We pounded on the dugout roof when they helped him to the bench, and we ran out to the parking lot and got a monkey wrench and found the Mudville bus and took the lug nuts off the tires and attached some firecrackers to the alternator wires. We rubbed the doors and windows with a special kind of cheese that smells like something died from an intestinal disease. Casey took his sweet time, but we were glad to wait. and we showered him with garbage when he came out through the gate. So happy were the Dustburg fans that grand and glorious day. It took a dozen cops to help poor Casey get away. We grabbed hold of the bumpers and we rocked him to and fro, and he cursed us from inside the bus. And gosh, we loved it so. Oh, sometimes in America, the sun is shining bright. Life is joyful sometimes, and everything seems right. But there is no joy in Dustburg, no joy so pure and sweet as when the mighty Casey fell, demolished at our feet. Ha!